buongiorno and good morning. Welcome to Autodromo Nazionale Monza, or to its friends, simply Monza. It's a beautiful day this morning. It's a little bit cooler than it was yesterday. Everyone's measuring the temperature of the track, so we'll keep an eye on track temperature and pit lane temperature. Now, don't be alarmed. Yes, we are here for the FIA Kumho TCR World Tour, but this is a very, very busy pit lane. Lots of activity this weekend. As you can see, we've got GT cars, we've got prototypes, we've got Italian F4, and we also have TCR Italy. What a beautiful park this is. The track is in the park, and of course it has that incredible old banking from the 1950s. There used to be an oval, and they used to race around here at incredible speeds. It's very, very steep. If you ever come here, it's quite a pilgrimage to make. Now, just to set the scene, we have qualifying coming up very, very shortly. Approximately 7 minutes we will get underway. These cars will come out onto the apron and they'll be released onto this incredibly fast track. Qualifying one, you'll have all 18 cars taking place. Then the top 12 progress to qualifying 2, and then from qualifying 2 that sets the grid for this afternoon's race, the top 10 including the pole sitter, and then that's reversed for race 2 tomorrow. So we are round 7 and 8. We're in the middle of our European leg of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Now, these guys were very quick yesterday. I'm going to go and see if I can have a word with someone to see just about why they were so quick and if they can repeat it for qualifying this morning. Let's see if we can speak to someone in here. Let's see if Pepe Oriola's around. The drivers all seem to be hiding. Oh, here we go. For you. Sorry, before you get ready for the.
Hold on, please.
2 minutes. Just how you were very quick yesterday in FP2. How can you do it again today?
We try to do the same, a bit quicker.
What are the challenges here? Because it's very, very fast. That straight is more than a kilometre long.
Yeah, so important. So now we have a good strategy. So let's see. Let's fine tune now with a bit of how do you call it? References.
Okay. So I'll leave Esteban Guerrero to it because here's Nacho. Let's see. You were quick yesterday. And there's a bit of strategy in terms of using the code today, Nacho. How can you repeat that today? And what's the secret to getting a quick qualifying lap here today?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, good morning. Good morning for everyone. I mean, the toe is the most important thing here in Monza, especially in the main straight and the back straight. We are forecasting this opportunity in this race, so we are going to approach it and trying to get a clean lap. I mean, that was the key for FP1, and the FP2 I couldn't approach that new tire. So let's see what we can do in Q1 and Q2, but for sure the toe will work, and we're going to do our best to put the team in the top.
And of course, you've got to hit those curbs hard because you need to be fast out of the corners. But it's a balance, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, first chicane and second chicane, let's move 1, let's move 2. Also, Ascari, we're touching every curve here to approach and gain some speed in the apex. But also we got some punches yesterday because of that. So, of course, in quali we're going to use it. But then in race we have to think where we have to cut or not, and where we can cut and try to lose the speed that we gain cutting those curves. So yeah, let's see what we can do, and the strategy, of course.
Thank you. I'll leave you to focus.
Thank you. Yeah.
So there's so before coming into this weekend, the general word on the street was that these Hondas, the GOAT Racing Hondas, Esteban, Nacho, Marco, and just a reminder, all of our regulars have their one. They're in the hundreds. Our guest drivers and our wildcards are in single figures. Now, because it is a busy weekend with the ACI race weekend, that's where GOAT Racing Honda are. Link & Co, Cyan Racing are all the way down there. Let's see if we can make it up to where the BRC, Hyundai and Squadra Corsa are. Now, the pit lane is currently in shade. There will be a time later when it is in full sunshine. And yesterday, the track temperature was over 56 degrees. So there's one thing for sure, the tyres are going to be needing some serious management. And of course, every single one of these teams will try and maximize the amount of traction they can get from the tyres in terms of low pressures. There's Aurélien Comte. Worth looking out for Aurélien in the Cupra this weekend because he was very quick yesterday. He's certainly a candidate for pole position when we go qualifying in about 4 minutes' time. Let's see if we can quickly get a word with Michele Ascona. So as you can see, it's quite a long walk up the pit lane. At the very end of the pit lane, we have the Hyundais, Nestor Girolami, Norbert Mikulits, and Mikel Ascona. Is there anybody around we can speak to? Let's go around the back, away where everyone's hiding. Track temperature is currently 34.5 degrees, so 20 degrees lower than it was yesterday. But expect those temperatures to rise. Nah, denied. There is no one here. So everyone is getting ready to go. Oh, we could go and speak to Gabriele Tarquini over on the pit wall. There's Reduzzi, one of our Italian TCR Italy drivers who have come over from. Right, we can cross the pit lane. Can have a quick word with Gabriele Tarquini. Can I talk to you quickly, Gabriele? Just quickly, Gabriele, if I can speak to you. Good morning. Can you tell us from your experience and also with the team, what are the secrets to unlocking a fast lap here at Monza?
Top speed, slipstream will be the key of qualifying. It's sure that alone you are losing almost 1 second, so you need a slipstream of somebody else in front of you to score a fantastic lap here in Monza.
And how have you decided between the drivers who gives a tow and who doesn't? Because I know Goat Racing have a strategy.
We have a strategy, it's sure. We have 3 cars and we can play a little bit. It's sure that we are in the first on the exit, so there will be no car in front of us, but we can play each other between our team.
Okay, good luck. Thank you. So that's a good point. The Hyundais have an open road out of qualifying, so let's get it started. Let's get qualifying.
Thank you very much indeed, Neil Cole, down there on a very hot and a very, very busy pit lane here at the Autodromo Internazionale di Monza. Our favourite track, our fastest track, and a track I'm sure you will all agree is absolutely wonderful for touring car racing. Well, we're not racing today, we are qualifying. We've got Q1 coming right up, followed almost immediately by qualification session number 2. And as Mr. Cole mentions down there, it is hot, hot, hot in Italy. 26 degrees air temperature, 34 degrees centigrade track temperature. Significantly cooler than we've seen in pre-practice 1 and 2 yesterday, but that is purely and utterly down to the time of day. It's going to increase here in Italy. There is threats of weather on the horizon, potentially rainfall after the conclusion of race number 1. Those weather forecasts haven't been particularly accurate so far over the course of this weekend, so we will keep our eyes on it, and we'll keep our eyes on that, a ribbon of tarmac that is the Monza racetrack. You can see on your screen our entry list for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. We've got a few drivers that are new to us. For Motorsport, Jacopo Jimenez, the Italian driver, joins his fellow Italian Damino Reduzzi in the Team Trico WRT Hyundai Elantra. Lionel Pania, big name from TCR South America, leading the TCR South America Championship, is our third and final new driver. And then, of course, the cohort of the World Tour that we've come to know and love over the 2025 season. Now, for Lionel Pania, ALM Motorsport driver, the revolving second seat at ALM alongside Ruben Volt. He's going to be a driver that you're going to have to look very, very closely at during qualification. First time at Monza since 2010 driving a Chevrolet in the World Touring Car Championship. Took me a while to remember that one then, Paul. 15 years then it's been since Pania has been at this beautiful Italian track. He's achieved a lot since then. The big question is, will he adapt to a TCR touring car around here? Or will he be on the pace of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour drivers? Free practice 1 and 2 suggests yes. We may very well be looking at that car as a possibility to be bothering the top 10 at the end of Q1. We'll find out in a few moments' time. We have several onboard cameras over the course of this racing event. Aurelian Comp, Ted Bjork, Bebu Girolami and Esteban Guerrieri being the drivers carrying those cameras. And right on cue, there is the big Swedish driver, Ted Bjork. Had a decent weekend last time out just 1 week ago at Valencia in 10th, 5th, 9th, 10th positions. But they're hoping for a little bit more on a very different proposition indeed. Valencia versus Monza, very different tracks. Will it work in the favour of different manufacturers. Lincoln Co haven't been massively competitive over the course of the weekend so far. Of course, there's a little bit of compensation weight there. Jan Aleshe carrying 40, Santiago Rutia carrying 30, and Ma Qinghua carrying 10 kilos for that brand. Bebu Girolami has 30 for the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team, and Ruben Volt has 20 kilos aboard the ALM Motorsport outfit. Right, will that make a difference at Monza? You're carrying weight, you've got to accelerate it, brake it, and run it in a straight line. Not ideal. Reduzzi that we're looking at there, first time we've seen this car this weekend. TCR Italy driver, 13th currently in the TCR Italy standings, is Damiano Reduzzi. Be interesting to see if he's got enough pace to get into the contention for making it through to Q3. At the moment, is the back of the slipstream train, but perhaps just a little bit too far away to take advantage of his 3 Hyundai drivers ahead. John Filippi, he's a driver that had a really good Valencia, didn't he? Got the reverse grid pole position, masterful defensive drive, dropped to 4th place at the end of the SP competition, Cooper driver, which showed a great defensive tenacity. Hopefully for John, that's the kickstart to a 2025 season he so very, very much needs. As we look at the Ascari chicane from up on high, beautiful place, beautiful drone shots here at Monza. Love it or loathe it, it is an iconic circuit. The temple of speed is Monza. Great for touring car racing. Frustrating on the sim. In the real world, it is seat of your pants stuff. And I think coming into qualifying, this one could be absolutely anybody's. The Lincoln Co Cyan Racing team, as you can see on screen, courtesy of a best seat in the house from Ted Bjork. They're very much playing the slipstream strategy game, and Bjork is the one that'll get the biggest advantage in its early stages, as Norbert Michaelis is the man that breaks through the clean air for BRC. This opening gambit at least. About a second, Gabriele Tarquini reckons you'll leave on the table if you don't have some kind of slipstreaming plan here at Monza. So it will definitely be disadvantage to Norbe, advantage to teammates Mikel Afkona and Bebu Girolami in this early qualifying. Reduzzi, we can see just dropping a few car lengths behind this pack, so it's going to be hard work for Reduzzi to receive any benefit. Mikel Afkona now drops to the back of the queue. Close enough just to get that slipstream. You have to be absolutely trimmed out here at Monza. Straight line speed is categorically what this place is all about. You need to be good on the brakes, of course, and you need to be very healthy over the curbs. But it's all about the ability to push that car in a straight line as fast as possible. 3 lap time in a straight line, folks. You can get a slipstream. The car in front breaks through the dirty air, punches a lovely looking hole that you can find yourself in, and that will drag you along and give you 3 kilometres an hour in a straight line. Absolutely vital around here. Vital in qualifying. It's going to be even more important come the racing as well. I do feel we've got a bit of a classic brewing this weekend. Just in case anybody wondered, it is another slight change of format over the course of this weekend. There's 1 qualifying session, and then we're going to have 2 races. One a little bit later on today, 14:50 local time, 12:50 UTC, and then race again on Sunday, 11:20 AM local time, 9:20 UTC. Qualifying, important. Slipstream, very important. Racing, intense. There we go. That's the too long, don't read. Make sure turn up for that one as Bebu Girolami now. He's our first driver to break the time of being with a relatively competitive time. 1 minute 55.578 for the Argentinian driver. Not quite on the pace that we were expecting just yet. 55.3 from practice 2 being the quickest time, and 55.2 courtesy of Nacho Montenegro from FP1 being the ultimate quickest time we've seen this weekend. So a Fields 10th still to go for Bebu Girolami. Let's have a look what the Lincoln Co crew can do. Over the line leading the pack goes Ma Qinghua. Very much playing the slipstreaming game for teammates Santiago Rutia, Jan Aleshe and Ted Bjork at the back of the crew. Bjork clearly the faster of the 4 at this moment in time, courtesy of that slipstream. Jimenez moves up in the top 8 as well with 8th position. Good time for Jacobo, 57.3, 1.7 off, so still not quite where he wants to be just yet. Times will come a-tumbling, methinks. What you see at this moment in time is merely posturing, ladies and gents. The real lap times have yet to come. And look at that one, that's Victor Anderson, our TCR Europe guest driver in the older Generation 1 Lincoln Co. he's managed to attach himself to the back of these 4 as well. So the Swedish driver will be seeing some benefit, I'm sure, from the inter-team play of the Cyan Racing squad up front. Still, at this moment in time, being led away by Ma Qinghua, but Santiago Urrutia started to close down now, as Norbert Mikkeliš still plays exactly the same game for teammate Bebu Girolami behind. Mikkeliš Girolami Athkona starting to gap the 4th Hyundai now a little bit, as the Italian squad on home soil, of course. It might be a Korean brand, but BRC are very much an Italian outfit, and they will be more than a little bit excited about some prospects of doing well in front of their home fans. So Norby will cross the line and go quickest of all immediately. A 1:54.9. The pace is hot. Mikel Athkona up to second. Bebu Girolami, despite benefiting from the slipstream of his teammate, fails to go quicker, stays in second position. Reduzzi moves up in a 7th place. More courtesy, I think, though, of other times having not been set yet than pure pace on the Italians' side of things. As Ma Qinghua says, I've had enough. Break in the air for you guys. I'm going to pull down pit lane. Jan Alishay on a reasonably quick lap. He gets that one completed, and that's good enough for 4th position, a 55.4. Big gaps between our leaders, nearly 5/10 of a second covering the top 4. Of course, let's clearly remember this one, folks. All you need to do for Q1 is get in the top 10 to make it through to Q2. These times don't matter per se. As long as you're in that top 10, you're going to make it through to the next part of qualifying. And that's where the important stuff happens for our front runners. So there'll not be too many panicked faces just yet outside of the top 10. There's nobody actually outside of the top 10 yet to set the top 10. There's Mar then, back in pit lane. He's done his work at the start of the session. He'll work on those Kumho split tyres. And the Chinese driver will be back out. Once again, Ma, there you see the timing street stand. Currently 8th position, so not quite what we're looking for Ma Qinghua. 1.9 seconds away from the pace, absolutely well and truly not indicative of the true pace of this machine. So there's certainly more to come, I think, from Ma Qinghua, and quite frankly more to come from all of the Lincoln Co Cyan racing drivers. As we take our first look at a very locked up Marco Butti, Nacho Montenegro, his GOAT Racing teammate just behind, and Nacho getting a bit of airtime. He was in the air long enough to be served wine on that occasion, was the Argentinian driver, pushing very, very hard in the number 1, 2, 3. Marco Butti providing slipstream duties just ahead, the Italian. Another one of our drivers that are on loan from TCR Europe for a couple of races in the World Tour. Did a good job with Marco last time out in Monza. And now he's very much playing his team game for teammates Montenegro. There's Esteban Gurrieri throwing through your screen as well. But of course, Gurrieri, my mistake, that is teammate to Nacho Montenegro. Butti is the MM Motorsports all locked up car ahead. With a very similar livery indeed. Look at that. Just look at that through Ascari. Nacho Montenegro absolutely on a push. There we go. His teammate gets out of the way, does Butti. Montenegro, having had all of that slipstream benefit, but a bit of sideways action too. It's going to hurt his lap time, but Nacho now has his turn to lead this particular trio. Butti back in it, go racing behind. And a bit further back, Esteban Gurrieri, perhaps a little bit too detached from all of this one to really be of much use. Montenegro goes 6th, Butti goes 8th, Gurrieri immediately jumps up, and so does everybody else, making it all irrelevant. Jimenez, probably the biggest noise in that one, up into 5th position for the Italian, just ahead of Ted Bjork. Ruben Volt but launches his qualifying bid up there in 7th as well. John Filippi in 10th, as Aurelien Comte goes quickest, 1 minute 54.913, just ahead of Norbert Mikkeliš and the French driver, having had a quiet Valencia but a great 2025 thus far. Backs up the prodigious pace in free practice 1 and 2, 3rd in both sessions for Aurelien Comte. No weight, Cupra looking sparkling in a straight line, Aurelien being a bit of a talent. All those combine for what should be a very competitive qualifying. Aurelien Comte quickest, proving there's certainly plenty of pace still in that car, as Jimenez goes fastest of all in sector 1 and 2. So Jimenez looking very, very quick indeed. We ride on board with the driver currently in 11th place, the first one that won't make it through to Q2, John Filippi. He needs to push hard. His teammate's on the fastest time of the session so far. So this pace in the car is their pace in John Filippi. Definitely using all the racetracks, as you have to do here at Monza. You need to be aggressive with the curbs. You need to minimise the amount of racetrack distance that you cover. For Jimenez, the final sector, not quite as quick. Sorry, the middle sector, not quite as quick as he was hoping. He's lost 7/10 in that one. Continuing to ride on board, though, with John Filippi. Down into Ascari, maximum commitment corner, catch the curb on the inside, let the car roll 3, use the curb on the right hand side, try to straight line the last section of the corner so you can get a long run down this back straight and into the curve of Michele Alboreto, or Parabolica as we all know. On paper, this is the kind of track that looks relatively straightforward. In reality, could not be further from the truth. Was that lap good enough then for John Filippi? Let's find out. He's currently down there. And he's up in 10th. He's now the man within the bubble that'll make it through to Q2. Here's John Filippi. Jacobo Jimenez comes in pit lane, having done, quite frankly, sensational work to be there in 8th position. For Jimenez, the Italian driver, pretty much covered himself in glory, it has to be said, over the course of this qualification session. The young 19-year-old for MM Motorsports, 8th for TCR Italy currently, racing Vallelunga, if you remember, in the World Tour. All the way back in 2024, had a 13th position and a DNF at that event. Well, he's back again, still on home soil, and it's looking very strong indeed. As he eyeballs our cameraman, no interview, thank you. That's exactly what he's thinking, but slightly fruitier language, no doubt. He's a man with a mission, and so far, let's have a look. Jacobo Jimenez, 8th place, 157, 5.7. That's a 55.9, so he's got a couple of tenths in hand over John Filippi. Lionel Pinilla as well, doing a grand job. But there is 7th position, the Argentinian driver. Very strong at this stage and looking very smart indeed to make it through. Oil, I am hearing, has been reported at Ascari. There you go, you can see it for yourself. That is the oil flag in the background. So a little bit of reduced, that's going to make life hard for a lot of our drivers. It's going to make life hard for one man in particular who we've not spoken about at all in qualifying. Esteban Guerrieri, 17th, no real representative time on the board. Oil on the track, car still in pit lane. Esteban Guerrieri has got a lot of stress ahead of him in qualification. Nacho Montenegro moves up in a 4th place with a 55.167. John Filippi currently outside of the cutoff for Q2. Can he do anything about it on this lap? We'll find out. Yes, we can. That's a very healthy 55.479 for Filippi. He moves up into 7th place. Good lap from the French driver. That's going to make you feel much more comfortable about making his way through into the top 10. Jimenez now being the driver that finds himself on the bubble. Marchinquar, personal fastest, sector 1 down there in 16th. Mar's got work to do as Ruben Volt is wound back into the garage for one final roll of the dice. The ALM Motorsport driver currently up there in 7th. A little bit of testing, checking, and then he'll be back out again. Mar, personal fastest, sector number 2. 2.5, nearly 0.3 of a second away from the pace, but this is looking good for Mar. He needs this one to get into the top 10. Let's have a look at the Chinese driver. 6 minutes on the clock's got time. The 155 will not want to be cutting things quite so close. Let's have a look at a replay. Didn't see much one in the live. Turning on grass, even when it's dry. A good time does not make it. That's some lovely car control from Marchinquar. But qualifying lap is now in the trash. As Nacho Montenegro, currently in 4th place, looking relatively comfortable, goes through our shot. There are the 2 remaining in sync Lincoln Co. Santiago Urrutia receiving the slipstream benefit from Jan Aleshe at this moment in time. Urrutia in 13th position. Nervy times for the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing Team. French driver Aleshe, Uruguayan driver Santiago Urrutia receiving double benefit slipstream. That's the Hyundai well and truly out of the way. Aleshe through the Parabolica or curve of Michele Alboreto, call it as you will. Aleshe, though, still has that advantage on track. Urrutia still receives the benefit, and will this help Santiago? Let's have a look. He's definitely going to improve from 13th position. Question is just how far? Up in a 3rd place, 6 tenths away from the pace, but absolutely well and truly comfortable now for Santiago Urrutia. Ted Bjork in 12th. He's going to need a bit of help at this stage, otherwise it may not look so great for our man Ted Bjork. Esteban Guerrieri, by the way, leaves pit lane. So the Argentinian driver now with Santiago Urrutia makes a monumental mistake into the gravel. That's really detached him from Elishane. If anything, that's given Reduzzi behind a bit of a slipstream opportunity. Reduzzi in 15th. We'll be grateful for that one. But Urrutia has lost that opportunity now to improve. Third place will not feel too bad at this moment in time. Here come the BRC Hyundai N Quadricoaster outfit. Still 1, 2 and 3 positions. Looking to get the slipstream. Bebu Girolami now being the driver to receive the biggest benefit at the back of that little pack. Norbert Mikulis again towing everybody around. So Norbe, I don't think he'll be too worried up there in second position. Mikhail Kona makes a mistake down into the Ratifilio chicane. Recovers that car, but of course the lap time will no longer count. And that's going to bring him very much into the disturbance area of Bebu Girolami behind. So with Kona currently in 4th. Let's take another look at what went wrong. Oh dear. Wasn't even close, was it? Very, very easy to make that mistake heading on down into the first chicane. Highest speed of the lap, of course. When you want to get a touring car slowed down, it really does like to move underneath you. Just a couple of metres too late, and that was the right choice, I think, from Mikel. Go for the escape route, don't damage those tyres. And now, very clearly and very quickly, he's let Bebu Girolami past as well. So Girolami should still be on a relatively decent lap, and there we go, right on cue. Personal fastest, sector number 2, 3/10 of a second away from the ultimate pace. Bebu, 7.5 tenths down from the provisional quickest driver, who is, of course, a rallying comp at this moment in time. So we're looking like an improvement for Girolami. Half a second down in the middle sector. Maybe he's just slightly falling away from the Argentine driver in sector number 2. A hearty amount of traffic. Oh, good Lord. More than a hearty amount of traffic. A ridiculous amount of traffic, some might say, up front. And anybody who's on a quick lap, i.e. Norbert Mikulis, they're going to find themselves in a world of pain. Girolami balked by Anderson. That's not ideal from Victor Anderson. That's going to hurt Bebu Girolami. And already he's pulling out and deciding, nope, that one is done and done for the Argentinian. He's not going to have time, I don't think, to get back out. But Girolami in 6th place will be reasonably content with that one. Norbert Mikulis goes a little bit faster as well, despite that traffic. So Mikulis was trending towards a potential provisional fastest time of the session, lap time. Traffic at the end of qualifying put pay to that one, though, unfortunately, a bit like Formula 1, isn't it? So, who's the big names then that we don't have through so far into the top 10? Ted Bjork down there in 12th is one of those. Marco Butin 14th, Marcin Hua 16th, Esteban Guerrieri still struggling in 17th position as well. This could be a big turn up for the Bucks if Esteban Guerrieri can't make it through into Q2. Let's remember, he's one of very firmly our championship challengers at the head of the pack. A small sprinkling of points separating our top 3 drivers. And if Guerrieri can't make it through, not only is it points lost, it's also positions as well. There is 186, the Argentinian driver. And he's got Norbert Mikulis for company as well. This looks like a motor race, doesn't it? Past Marco Butin, Mikulis trying to find a bit of clean air. Ted Bjork looking to receive some of that benefit as well. You can't believe this is qualifying, can you? But Esteban Guerrieri now has Norby trying to apply the pressure. Maybe a bit of strategy, maybe not. Ted Bjork laughing, clapping and dancing at this moment in time is Ted with the slipstream benefit. But while they squabble, everybody is falling over each other. This is not pretty at all. This is not working out well for Norbert Mikulis nor Ted Bjork. They're too close to each other. Guerrieri backs out of it. He wants to join the back of this train. Norby, wily fox Mikulis. He allows Ted Bjork through because he wants Bjork's slipstream. That's exactly why Norbert Mikulis will play games like that one. And in fact, if anything, actually Norby's decided doesn't have enough in the tank, doesn't need to go again. So he's interfered with Ted Bjork's time. Bjork goes 7th quickest though, no problem whatsoever. Ruben Volt moves up to 8th place. It's now Pania who is the first driver that won't make it through into Q2. So Pania's got work to do as well. Needs to try and find just a nip under 3/10 to break into that top 10. Marco Buti as well, another driver really, really struggling. Esteban Guerrieri is on track. His first sector was a little bit slower than optimal, and he is trending towards setting a time. Jimenez, 12th position so far. Can he do anything to confuse, interfere and engage with our top 10 drivers? There is the Italian car, number 82. Very lively. Down in the Parabolica. Good sector 1, solid 2, solid sector 3. Let's have a look what the Italian does then over the line. He's got a lot of time to find, but will he be able to find it? He does improve, but only to 11th position. Look how close that is, by nothing, absolutely nothing between himself and John Felipe. Jimenez fails to make it through into the top 10. Lionel Pania still on a lap as well, fastest of all, sector 1, personal fastest, sector number 2. Marchingwa completes his qualifying, but only good enough for 13th place for the Chinese driver. Not worked out for Ma at all. Mikel Azcona running relatively quickly on track, but he's not needing to worry about that one. He's safe. He's confident in 4th position. The big one I want to see is Esteban Gurrieri. Where is the Argentinian driver? There's the 2 GOAT racing machines. That's Gurrieri at the back of the shot, trying to pick up a slipstream from Ruben Volt Pania as well. Still out on the racetrack, but I think his time, his opportunity, is pretty much wound down to nothing. It's all eyes then on Esteban Gurrieri for GOAT Racing as the 2 ALM cars come down pit lane. Can Esteban Gurrieri get through into the top 10? This is the big question. The checkered flag you can see on your screen is being waved. Esteban Gurrieri does improve, but only good enough for 15th position. Felipe Fernandez gets into the top 10 as well. John Felipe won't make it through in the Q2, but the biggest news of the session, folks, Esteban Gurrieri went out last night, took his pace with him, must have left it somewhere because he can't find it in qualifying. It has to be said, 1.5 seconds away from Aurelian Comte. Esteban Gurrieri will not make it through to Q2 for the first qualifying grid of the weekend, and will start both races in 15th position. That is not what was ordered coming into this race, and it does look like Esteban Gurrieri's weekend has suddenly become a whole lot more complicated indeed. Exciting stuff in qualification then here for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. We're qualifying for round 7 of the season here at the beautiful Temple of Speed. There's the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Great track, great for racing, great for qualifying. Not so good for several of our drivers: John Felipe, Jacobo Jimenez, Lionel Pania, Marchingwa, Esteban Gurrieri, Marco Butte, Damiano Reduzzi and Victor Anderson failed to make the top 10 for qualification. So there is Mar then, heading back down the pit lane. Has it been a good day, Marchingwa? Will be the interviewer's question, and the answer will be no from the Chinese driver. 14th place, not what was expected coming into this one at all for Marchingwa. He's carrying a little bit of weight, just 10 kilos of compensation weight. Shouldn't be particularly problematic for him, but it doesn't look like qualification has gone to plan at all. Further wonderful drone shots over this iconic pit lane. Look at that podium. I've had the pleasure of standing on that one. Never in race conditions, obviously. Several times. You can only begin to imagine the level of emotion having achieved some kind of success, and with the crowd baying for your attention behind. It really is a beautiful place, Monza. It is a bit Marmite. It is a like it or loathe it type of venue. One thing you cannot argue with is it is steeped in motorsport history. And it's the kind of layout that produces really, really good racing indeed. So Q1's over. That was 20 minutes. Got a 10-minute session following almost instantaneously. And we'll see which of our 12 drivers make it through and who's going to make our top 10 on the grid. I don't know is the answer, to be quite frank, on this one after qualifying. I really don't know how it's going to go. Let's have a look at the provisional qualifying 1 results then. Aurelian Comte from Norbert Michelis and Santiago Urrutia. Top 3 drivers. Expect those gaps to get a lot smaller very soon indeed. Mikel Azcona, Nacho Montenegro and Bebu Girolami 4th, 5th and 6th respectively. Ted Bjork in 7th place. And I believe Marchingwa, actually. Let's have a listen to how bad his mood is. Neil Cole is down there in pit lane to speak with a disappointed Marchingwa.
Marchingwa, that was a very busy and hot qualifying session. Tell us what happened from your perspective.
Yeah, it was difficult, and I just got in the wrong timing of the on track, because when I arrived in my flying lap, there was a big dust shell, maybe somebody carried the gravel onto the circuit, and I was the first one to be there, so was quite unlucky and didn't get the lap. So yeah, didn't go through into Q2, so it's a bit shamed for the result. Which is not what I want, but this is the racing.
Bad luck. See you in the race later.
See you.
Thank you very much. Neil Cole talking to a slightly less angry marching while than I kind of expected coming into this one. Well done, bravo Neil, for not saying bad qualifying, how did it go, because he'd have just gone bad. So Q2 is here then. As you can see, the timer has already started. Just a 10-minute session. It's short, sharp and sweet. Short, sharp and sweet. There you go, Paul, put your teeth in Q2. Not a lot of time to set our grid then for the first race of the day. Several big names are missing from this session. Many big names, though, are well and truly in. And I'll tell you something for free. That squad, the BRC Hyundai and Squadra Corsa team, they'll be glad that their woes of Mexico are now well and truly in the rear-view mirror. Much more competitive for BRC in Valencia last time around. Granted, not as competitive as they would like to be, but competitive nonetheless. Bebo Girolami winning the middle race number 2 and 3. In Spain, well, here in Italy, all 3 cars are through in a Q2. That's the vital thing for these drivers. And it is Mikel Azcona, Norbert Michelis and Bebo Girolami. That's the running order at the start of this session. I think they'll take turns, though, to head up the pack, like Santiago Arruti is doing for the Lynk & Co squad, with the analyst Shane Ted Bjork very firmly behind and hoping to receive a bit of mutual benefit, just like Ruben Volt is in the background as well. Air temperature now 27.5 degrees, track temperature 38.3, humidity at a mithering 58%. So it's getting warmer out on the racetrack, it's getting hotter in terms of the competition and the competitive proposition coming into this one. 7 minutes, 32 seconds. Let's make ourselves a grid, shall we, for race number 1 that's happening not too far away, actually, it has to be said. We are racing for the first time today, a little bit later on in the day. 14:50 local time, 12:50 UTC to be precise, so stay tuned for that one. It's going to be a good one, but let's get qualifying done and dusted before we go any further. No times yet set in this session. Nothing to really worry about too much. If you're Norbert Michelis, lights ablaze on the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa Elantra. Norby needs big points coming into this weekend. He needs to kickstart his competitive prospects for making himself a 3-time Kumho FIA TCR World Tour champion. Blue flags are a-waving then. Felipe Fernandez well and truly out of the way. Nacho Montenegro keeping a watching brief in the background as well. Those teammates will hope to sync up very shortly indeed and help each other. Not syncing up at all, though, is Bebo Girolami. Quite the gap to the back of our 2 race leaders. Session track position leaders, shall we say. Mikel Azcona punching the hole through the air, but Michelis following suit, hoping to receive some benefit. Girolami dropping back a teeny bit. Is that half in protection of the 2 GOAT racing machines, or is it a small mistake? We'll certainly find out as we're about to commence our flying laps. First one over the line will be Mikel Azcona. 55.0 immediately bested by Norbert Michelis, 54.347. Records will be broken in terms of pace this weekend, of course. It's been a slight reprofiling, slight resurfacing, so it's not a like for like, but just out of interest, the qualifying record is 157.073 from Franco Girolami, TCR Europe in 2021. Different layout circuit, different for tarmac as well, so not really too important, but just so you know, record pace for TCR cars here in Monza this weekend. As it seems to be, quite frankly, everywhere we go. The form book is very much in the favour of our 2025 cohort. Aurelian Comp goes second quickest, by the way. Half a second just over behind Norbert Michelis' time, 54.894 for Aurelian Comp. Again, not getting too excited. Expecting these times to change as the session goes on. Jacobo Jimenez that we're just picking up here, that's the MM Motorsports Italian Honda Civic. Jimenez done fabulous work, it has to be said, to break through into the top 12 for this qualification session. so far, so good for the Italian. 10th position, last of those that have set a time. Felipe Fernandez, Nacho Montenegro. Neither driver yet to set a competitive time on the board. Right on cue, as if by magic, they whisk through our screens. There's John Felipe. He's currently in 8th. And then this is the one that we're all looking at. Santiago Arrutia, Jan Ellershey, almost glued together as one. Ellershey really, dearly would like to use the opportunity to take the slipstream away. Look at the traffic as we go down into Parabolica again. These cars are going to be well and truly out the way of our trio of Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing Machines, though, so no harm, no foul. Santiago Arrutia still leading that pack. Jan Ellershey glued to the rear of him as one. Ellershey, personal fastest in sectors 1, 2 and 3. It will be enough to go quicker, but will it be quick enough? Felipe Fernandez goes 10th, immediately down to 11th as Nacho Montenegro goes 8th, immediately down to 9th as John Felipe goes 2nd, immediately down to 7th as Jan Ellershey moves up into that 2nd place. Santiago Arrutia up into 3rd position as well. Ted Bjork, Mikael Koda in pit lane. I'm sure we've got time to see a little bit more of them. There's a small snatch of the front brake from Arrutia. That's going to hurt both drivers. Santiago gets out of the way immediately. Now it's Jan Ellershey's opportunity. Will he have carried a little bit of advantage down into T1? I fear perhaps that lockup may have put paid to their competitive prospects. There is Aurelian Comp through your screen. There is Jimenez hard on the brakes, makes a mistake down to the first chicane. No real dramas there. Jimenez still has an opportunity to improve his lot in life. 1 second away from Norbert Michaelis at the head of the pack. Fastest of all in sector 1 is Jimenez Montenegro. Not quite as good in sector 2, lost 0.3 of a second. Fast in sector 1 was the Argentinian driver Montenegro, though. As things stand, not quite as tidy in the second part of the lap. The two GOAT racing cars go through your shot. Felipe Fernandez is the one pushing the hole in the air now. Montenegro's the one trying to take advantage. Into Ascari they go. You don't want to be losing front downforce to Ascari if you can at all help it. Let's have a look at what went wrong with Felipe Fernandez. There we go. A little bit too much inside curb leads to a hole too much outside. But Fernandez plays the team game, gets out of the way, gives Montenegro the slipstream. Can the Argentinian driver improve? 10th position for now. Not where you want to be. It's pole for race 2. But if you're 11th, it's 11th for both races. Montenegro will be more comfortable, I feel. He's got a bit more time on the board and can move himself up the running order. 2 minutes then left in Q2. Will Nacho Montenegro improve? Yes, he does. Moves up into 8th position. Puts Jimenez down to 10th now. Jimenez currently looking for the reverse grid. Race 2 pole position. Ruben Volt down there in 11th. Felipe Fernandez both expecting to improve before this session comes to an end. And there is Fernandez, followed closely by John Felipe. Felipe, for good measure, in 7th place. It's been another decent qualifying for him, showing improvement from what we saw at the start of the season. Is John Felipe. I said it right the way back in Mexico, and I'll say it again. He's a fast driver. Give him time to embed himself in team and car, and just watch the Frenchman fly. It's starting to come through fruition now as Felipe Fernandez, sector 2, not so great. Felipe, not so great either. This is going to be one of, if not the final roll of the dice for these drivers. Jimenez in pit lane, so he's called time on qualifying. He's not going to improve his time. He'll be very nervous about Ruben Volt and Felipe Fernandez behind, well, Jacobo Jimenez. But even if he doesn't make it through into the top 10, Q2 result on debut is a fabulous performance indeed. The 3 BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa cars then lining up for their final roll of the dice. Bebo Girolami being the most vulnerable of that trio in 9th position. Just a click of the fingers between himself and dropping out of the all-important top 10. So this will very much be an opportunity to get Nacho in a more comfortable, Bebo in a more comfortable spot. Afcona in 6th. Michaelis quickest. They don't need to worry too much at this moment in time. But the man at the back of the train, Bebo Girolami, under pressure in the final moments of this qualification session for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour ahead of round 7 here in Monza. Over the line then goes Felipe Fernandez. He does improve despite having gone off on the previous lap. He moves up into 11th position. That is Felipe Fernandez's day done and done. So he won't make it through now into the top 10 grid. He'll start in 11th for both races. Jan Aleshay's day's done. 3rd place, best opportunity for him. 4th position, Santiago Urrutia. Montenegro finished as well. He's going to be no higher than 8th position. Mikel Azcona was quick in sector 1 and sector 2. Can the Spanish driver pull a little bit of something out of the bag? His teammate Norbert Michelis is the provisional pole sitter for race number 1. But can Mikel Azcona do anything about it? He's got the Hungarian driver as a toe ahead of him. A slow-moving Ted Bjork will do well to get well and truly out of the way. But this is going to be very tense now. Azcona mighty fast in sector 3. If they can make it cleanly through Ascari, which it looks like they've done, Azcona will receive the benefit of the slipstream all the way down this back straight. Teammate Michelis potentially towing Mikel Azcona to a pole position currently held by the Hungarian driver. Beautiful teamwork from these two. Azcona then swoops in to the Barabolica for the final time in qualification. Norbert Michelis is your provisional pole sitter for now. But can Mikel Azcona, as he skirts the outside of the racetrack, do anything about it? Currently in 6th place, Mikel Azcona was quick in all 3 sectors. Not quick enough, though, to get the job done. Goes 2nd fastest, making it a BRC Hyundai N Quadricorsa provisional front row of the grid. John Filippi still got a set of time. Bebu Girolami still under pressure for that top 10. I think Girolami, though, has got it done. Ruben Volt at the death, moves up in a 6th position. That knocks Jimenez out of the top 10. Bebu Girolami's now your provisional pole sitter for race number 2. Jimenez, such a shame, right at the end of qualification. But what a lap from Ruben Volt. John Filippi, Bebu and Jimenez in pit lane. Everybody's completed their session, folks. And it is that man, Norbert Michelis, from the devastation and heartbreak of Valencia to euphoria of a pole position here in Monza. I bet if you asked Norbert that one before qualifying, he wouldn't have expected it. I bet if you ask him now, he'll be a very cheerful man indeed. Fabulous stuff. And a little bit of celebrating for the camera. Norbert, though, of course, knows the real work comes this afternoon in race number 1. But for now, task laid in front of our double champion, our reigning champion. The task delivered very nicely indeed. Thumbs up to the camera. Thumbs up for socials, no doubt as well. And Norbert Michelis is your pole position. Provisional, of course. Winner for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, round number 7 here at Monza. Celebrations all round then. The BRC Hyundai N Quadricorsa team. Handshakes and hugs. Lovely, 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 lovely man. He's Norbert Michelis. Frighteningly fast, but he seems to have married that now with a whole new strategic level of ability to score points, stay out of trouble, maximise results, as Norbert over the last few years, and that's paid him back very nicely indeed in terms of healthy hauls of points and championship titles. And a healthy haul of points will, of course, come his way again, courtesy of that provisional pole position. So then, these are your Q2 results. Provisional, Norbert Michelis is fastest of all from Mikel Azcona. Aurelian Comp, Jan Aleshay started in 3rd and 4th position. Santiago Urrutia and Ruben Volt. Ted Bjork 7th, John Filippi 8th, Nacho Montenegro 9th, Nestor Girolami in 10th. Then it is Jacopo Jimenez 11th, Felipe Fernandez in 12th position. They'll be reversed for race number 2, top 10, of course. So it will be Nestor Girolami that will start race 2 in pole. Norbert Michelis starts pole position for race number 1 a little bit later on this afternoon. The Hyundais look fast. There's 2 of them on the front row of the grid. If you're Aurelian Comte or Jan Aleshay, it's going to be quite the ask to get race 1 victory. So, what sounds like fun is talking to our new pole sitter. Let's head down to Neil Cole, who I believe has got Norbert Michelis for a chat.
Norbert Michelis, the first pole position for you since Italy last year, so there's something about Italy. Talk us through your pole lap.
Yeah, I love Italy, to be honest. It's always a pleasure to come back, regardless of it being in Monza or Vallelunga. Car felt brilliant. I mean, you rarely have the possibility to be 100% perfect in terms of car balance. But I think we managed to have a perfect car. I mean, I was confident from the outset to push, to brake late, not to pick up any turning oversteer. Front was gripping, We did a fantastic tow strategy, which gave us pole position in the end, because I'm not sure that without slipstream we would have been so fast. But first run Q2, I received a tow from Mikel, was perfect, and we managed to do the same for him in the second run, so I think that was the key.
And it was clearly good, the squadra working well together, because you've got Mikel alongside you on the front row, so the slipstream is so important.
Yeah, I mean, race will be a different story. I still don't think that we have the straight line speed, but I know all the places where to defend. Even if we have a good start, I don't expect to have an easy race.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you very much.
Even if we have a good start, I don't expect to have an easy race. Wow, Norbert Michaelis, that is an understatement. Marcello Lotti then, president of WSC, is just finalising the last little touches, and our latest pole position trophy winner, Norbert Michaelis, gets his reward. Beautiful trophy, 1 minute 54.347 being the time, and Norbert Michaelis, much as he will love that trophy, will almost certainly love the points that come with qualification even more. So then, combined qualifying, it is Norbert Michaelis from Mikel Azcona at the front of the field. Aurelien Coq, then Jan Aleshe, Santiago Urrutia 5th, Ruben Volt in 6th. Ted Bjork is 7th from John Felipe, Nacho Montenegro and Bebu Girolami rounding out the top 10. Jacobo Chimenez starts in 11th. In 12th place is Felipe Fernandez. Marcin-Gua is 14th, Esteban Gurrieri, Marco Buti 15th and 16th respectively. Victor Anderson will round out our field in 18th and last in the previous generation Lincoln Co, run by the MAGP squad. Qualifying then was tight. It has to be said. The racing is going to be even more frantic. By the way, provisional driver's points after qualification, 11 the advantage now for Jan Aleshe, 22 over Esteban Gurrieri in 3rd, 44 back is Ted Bjork in 4th, and then on down. Fabulous stuff in qualifying. Thoroughly enjoyed that one, I must say. And just to remind you all, race number 1, 14:50 local time, 12:50 UTC. You don't want to miss this one. It's going to be a very intense race indeed. Catch it all on the TCR TV YouTube channel. My name's been Paul Jeffrey. From us all, thanks for watching qualifying. See you this afternoon for race number 1. Goodbye. Thank